And what's your point?
Well, at any given moment, the media can elevate or suppress information. This rankled progressives during the midterm cycle when it came to crime. Some thought the focus was disproportionate to the point of being Republican propaganda. We know the media isn't staffed by like crypto Republicans, but if it bleeds, it leads isn't just a rhyme, it's a business philosophy that can lead to some really bad outcomes. Because of technology, it's harder than ever to kind of exist outside the corporate media bubble. And while technology is also making it harder for them to control the narrative, it's making it easier for their narratives to control us. Because news is everywhere, even on the platforms we use to just keep up with friends and family. And the legacy press is still the most powerful press. A few short years ago, daily headlines fixated on whether Donald Trump had been compromised by Vladimir Putin. Nobody batted an eye when Hakeem Jeffries said in 2020 that Trump was not a, quote, legitimate president, or that he was trying to, quote, steal the election with his, quote, buddies in the Kremlin. Hillary Clinton did the same thing. It was basically the Democratic Party's official line. In the wake of his elevation last week to Nancy Pelosi's successor, conservative media started referring to Hakeem Jeffries as an election denier in headlines. That's not just trolling over the obvious double standard for people like Stacey Abrams and Hillary Clinton and Jeffries himself. There's a legitimate point to be made right here. Now, of course, some of you pointed out after I did a monologue a couple of weeks ago that far fewer Democrats and with less mainstream support from their party voted against certifying electors in 2016, and there was no organized plot to overturn the results through different legal processes, nor was there an assault on the Capitol from, say, Clinton supporters. That is true and a totally fair point. There is a difference. Instead, though, of abusing the Electoral College or the election system itself, Democrats turned to the FBI. They sicked Robert Mueller on Trump's campaign and his administration, leaving no stone unturned in an effort to prove Trump, to borrow a phrase from Jeffries, was not legitimately elected. Even before Trump won, FBI agent Peter Strzok was referring to the Trump-Russia probe as, quote, an insurance policy against Trump's election. That probe would come to dominate Trump's presidency and clearly contributed to the institutional distrust that brought people to the Capitol on January 6th. And the FBI, by the way, knows that because we're learning more and more every week about how many informants they had in groups that found themselves heavily involved on that day. Now, that is far from an excuse for rioters, but it's not true that 2016 election deniers aren't also a very serious threat to the democratic system. Weaponizing the FBI on the basis of an illegitimate investigation to undercut the duly elected president is very, very bad and very, very anti-democratic. Plus, it then gave the FBI more power and more perceived justification for encroaching on the freedoms of average Americans with beliefs that don't comport with the beliefs of elites. That's where this all goes, and it won't be good for regular Democrats either. Hakeem Jeffries has a lot of problems beyond parroting the Democratic Party's line on the 2016 election. But it really is worth imagining how the media could be covering him and other Democrats who told the American people for years that Donald Trump was illegitimate right now. For so-called neutral reporters to treat literally every Republican who even questioned, let's say, Zuckbucks in 2016, not even the voting machines or any of the other conspiracy stuff, to treat them as, quote, election deniers, but say nothing about Jeffries is a worse threat than Jeffries himself just being a partisan hack. If the media were actually neutral and skeptical of power across the board, we could have had news cycles in 2016 on the abuse of the FBI, and news cycles now on Democrats elevating an election denier to House leadership. If reporters were just honest about their biases, this artificial construct of neutrality that we all live in wouldn't be a lie and would be a lot less damaging. And it would also destroy the incentives for people at the FBI and in the Democratic Party to abuse their power. Without a check from the press, partisans are going to do whatever they can to cling to power. Republicans have plenty of their own issues, but media's coverage of some of their bad behavior is actually helpful when it's done fairly because it disincentivizes that bad behavior. Politicians need that. Without it, dangerous ideas promoted by Democrats are metastasizing. Ryan, I thought it was worth talking about Hakeem Jeffries
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Soccer and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us. And if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.